dear creatives, I welcome us to another wonderful tutorial on how to make fascinators. And in today's tutorial, I'll be teaching us one of the latest designs in linen, the feather fascinator. So in this class, we'll be learning how to make the round type of the feather fascinator where you can attach to your hair. So what are the measurements, what are the materials required very quickly? You need your first and foremost important material. You need your feathers. So I'm working with fan feathers in this particular one. If you are privileged to take my paid classes, you see where I worked with another type of feather. So I work with fan feather. So I have two different colors here. I just want to work something beautiful. Then I'll be making use of galvanized wire. So please take note. This is different from the usual art wire. Why? Because this one is malleable. Can you see? It's the soft type of wire. It's used mostly to make freeforms. And then I'll be wrapping it with velvet ribbon. So I'm wrapping it with velvet ribbon. So for some of us are always like, can I use this? Can I use this? I decided to make this video so that we can see how to make use of this particular ribbon. So, and for this tutorial too, I'll be making use of comb. Let me get my comb and then show us. I'm making use of the plastic comb. So this is the plastic comb. I'll be making use of comb. Now for this comb, I can decide to use the whole of the comb and I can decide to use half depending on what I want to do. So what's the first thing to do? The first thing you need is to pluck out your feathers, because you cannot use it this way. Obviously you can't make use of your feather this way. So what will I do? I'll be removing now my feathers out of this feather pack, this side that they used to put the feather into one. So I'm going to be removing my feather. I'm going to remove everything out of this. So I'm going to remove everything. Now for some people, they used to tear it, but I don't advise you tear it, because you want your feather to be long and you want it to stand on your feather carrier, which is the wire. So I'm going to do this for the whole of it and then show us the next thing to do. Okay, so right now I'm done on plucking my feathers and this is what we have. So the next thing I'm going to do is to cut out my wire in my desired length. Now I want to say this, depending on how full you want your feather fascinator to be, that's how much of wire you're going to cut. So now remember that if you want volume, the smaller your wire, the more your feather fascinator will be, because, and it also depends on the amount of feather you're using. So let me clarify that. So if you know you have less feathers to work with and you want to make a full feather fascinator, then you are advised for this particular design to cut out just something little of your feather carrier. You don't want to cut out too much. But if you know that, oh, probably you have so much feathers to work with, then you can work with a very large amount of feather carrier. Having established that, for this design I'll be cutting out 20 inches in length of my wire. So what I want to work with is 20 inches, and that's because I want this particular feather fascinator to be full to an extent. Now 20 inches in length. So I'm going to cut this out. Okay, so now that I have already established the measurement required, the next thing to do is to get started with our feathers. Now let me say this, remember that this is our wire, the whole of the length we want to work with, and we are going to be installing such a way that we're going to be having our feathers stay on the wire like this. Now this, from this point to the point where your feather will sprout out, is a few distance, and this distance you need to cover it. So how do you cover it? This is where the reduction of your feather comes to play. So now what do? You pick a few of your feather here and then you're going to trim it. Don't mind my broken cup, it's my work cup. So I'm going to trim it. I'll just trim it a bit, then I'll keep this aside. Now that I've trimmed it, can you see I have shorter feathers? Now the way it is now short, it's going to be easy for me to now install, and then I would have a fair installation. You will understand what I'm saying as time goes by. So I'm going to also reduce the red too. So now this is the main length. Let's compare this to the one I installed. Can you see that it's short? Now that we have already established the trimming of our feathers, let's get on to the installation, which is the most interesting part of this fascinator. So what's the first thing you want to do? The first thing to do now is to apply your glue on either your wire tip or your ribbon tip, whichever one works for you. You can decide to attach it to the tip of your ribbon or your wire, but for me I've decided to attach it to the wire. So now when it is a bit solid, I would then wrap with my ribbon. So right now I think I can now cover it. So the next thing to do is to place your ribbon, use it to close it, and then you begin to wrap. Now when you wrap for the first 2 times, you are good to go with fixing your feather on it. Now when you want to fix your feather, remember that we trimmed our feather. We're going to start with your trimmed feather, which is this way. Now you are wrapping to the back. What do I mean by wrapping to the back? Your feather will face out towards this direction, while the stem of your feather will face inside. So can you see? Now I've attached my first feather. What am I going to do? I'm going to now wrap. If you see that probably your ribbon is folding like this one, you can decide to trim it. You can decide to trim it. And if you know that, oh, you can maneuver it the way it's folding, the choice is still yours. So I've trimmed this one so that it's going to allow me to work. So now when you wrap once, you fix one feather because you want what? Volume. When you wrap once, you fix one feather. So now I have wrapped once and I'm going to fix another feather and then wrap. Remember, the mode and the method or technique of installing your feather is such that your feather will face outside while your feather stem faces inside. Now I've fixed 2 blues. Now it's time to work with the red. I'm going to fix my red feather and then wrap again. So per wrap I fix 1 feather on it. Per 1 wrap I fix 1 feather. So I'm going to continue doing this until I install the whole of my feathers on my feather carrier, which is my wire. Now when I get to the point where I need to attach my long feathers, I'm going to show us how to go about that. Remember, when you want to begin your installation process, you are starting with the short feathers that you trimmed. Please take notes. Okay, so dear creatives, I'm done installing my short and trimmed feathers, so it's time for me to install the normal length ones. And like I said, it's not something difficult at all. You just want to pick the normal length feathers and then put it on it and continue to wrap. So I'm going to put it, install the normal length and also continue wrapping. And then after doing that, I'm going to show us how to now attach our comb and shape it to the circle shape. And now I want to say something. You can decide to do this fascinator however you feel like. You can be creative with it to just, you know what, do something nice and do something beautiful out of it. Okay, so dear creatives, as you can see, I'm done installing my feathers and this is what we have. So this is what we have. So dear creatives, it's time to attach our comb. And like I said, I can decide to break or half my comb, and I have done that already. So I just broke it because I don't want it to be too much. So I have just about 6 teeth here, and that's what I'm going to be attaching to this feather fascinator. Why are we attaching a comb? Because it may the person wearing it may want the fascinator to sit into her hair firmly. You know, since we are not using a clip here, she might want it to sit into her hair firmly. And one of the duties of the person making this fascinator is to ensure that your customer is able to wear her art in a way that she's going to feel very comfortable. So how do you fix your comb? It's not hard. You just need to find the midpoint of your feather fascinator. Now this one I'm stretching it out is because I want to use my tape rule for beginners. So all you simply do, remember that this is 20 inches in length. You will measure using your tape rule from the 1 point to where 10 is, and this is where our 10 is. So this is the midpoint of our fascinator. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to place my comb from here. You can try to put it underneath or on top. The choice is yours. So I'm going to place it this way and then thread my needle and then use my needle and thread to fix it down. So here is my needle. I've already threaded it. So I'm just going to pass it from inside the ribbon we used to cover it. I'm going to pass it in. After passing it in, I'm going to pull it out. Then after pulling it out, I'm going to put it inside one of the teeth of my comb. I just pass it in like that. And then I'll do as though I'm using it to wrap around my fascinator. But while I'm doing that, I'm also going to pass my needle and thread through the ribbon. And then I'm going to drag my thread out. So can you see that it has sat on the fascinator just like so? So I'm going to put it through the second teeth. I'm going to pass it through again. Pass it through the ribbon. Pull it out from underneath. And then I'm going to repeat the same process for the third teeth. And then I'm going to go on and on and on until I fix and pass my needle and thread through all the teeth. That way I will have firmly secured and attached my comb to the feather fascinator. And it's just as simple as that. So I'm going to do that and then show us the results. So right now, as you can see it, I've attached my comb firmly, and now this is the midpoint. So what's the next thing to do? Is now, dear creatives, now that we're done fixing the comb, I want to show something else to do, should in case you do not want to leave the fascinator like this for the person that wants to wear it. Now you cut out 20 inches of the same ribbon you used to wrap it, or velvet trimming, anyone, and then you're just going to attach it at both ends. So you attach one here, you attach the other one here. Now this will serve as a medium for your customer, whoever is wearing it, to tie it to her taste. Now I'm not saying that you cannot leave it like this, because when you leave it like this, she's going to, you know, do it or wrap it around her hair to her taste. But this other one too can also help her to have a firm grip. So what do you do basically? You are going to attach your glue on the tip like I have done like this, and then the next thing you do is to wait for it to solidify a bit, and then you're going to just wrap it, you know, at this tip. You wrap from here. Don't wrap exactly at this point, please. Wrap from like the first place, the first feather you put or installed on your wires. Wrap from there, but you can even decide to wrap from even way above the first feather. Why? So that you'll be able to have a firm grip, and so that when the person that wants to wear it picks it up, it doesn't remove. Now even after using this one on it, you can still go on ahead to use your needle and thread to firmly secure it. So I'm just going to wrap it around. The glue will help me to hold it in place. I'm going to wrap it around. Now when you get to this end, you can then help her to either tie it, or you still use your glue to hold it down. But if you don't tie it and you use your glue, take note, you are going to go in with your needle and thread to sew it and attach it to it. So you're going to go in with your needle and thread to attach it to it, so as to ensure that it is firmly held. So you're going to go in with your needle and thread still to attach it to it to ensure that it's firmly held. So now I'm going to repeat the same process for the other side. I'm going to attach a free flowing velvet trimming at the other side, such that I'm going to have two flowing pieces that she can use to, or your customer, whoever wears it, can use to tie it on her head. So as you can see right now, I'm done attaching both sides, and this is what I have. So this will help whoever is wearing it to be able to tie the fascinator to our own taste. And so now, as it is self, you can still help whoever is wearing it to shape it, and you can decide to deliver it like this depending on how well the person wearing it has the understanding of handling the task associated with wearing this particular type of feather headpiece. And so this has brought us to the end of this class. I trust that you have found value and you did not waste your time. If you did, don't hesitate to click the subscription button so as to get notified of our videos even as they drop. And yes, this is also me inviting you to take the feather fascinator class. That is very much more detailed, where you have to explore other types of designs in this particular feather fascinator. Until I come back again in our next tutorial video. See you. Bye.